Hi, my name is Chris Brown and I'm going to talk to you about how to make a compost in the tropics. This is an example of a compost pit that we have at our house. This compost we've been running for about 1.5 years now on the same site. And I'm going to go over some very basic steps for creating your own compost. Step 1. Come with me. What you first want to do is you want to get a bunch of material like this. Okay, it's very fibrous. These are great, and you want to set down a meter by meter square of this type of material. It should be approximately 10 centimeters thick. So step 1 is putting down a 10 centimeter thick bed of this stuff, palm leaves. Step 2 is you want to put down a base of green leafy material, and it can be this kind of material. So what's some of the stuff that we put in? We put in cuttings from the garden, anything that we come from our table that's not animal made, except for eggs, as you can see. And you just put down a good 30 centimeter pile of that. So step 2 is we create 30 centimeters of plant material mostly. Once you get that 30 centimeters, what you need to do is you need to put down some already made dirt like this. 30 centimeters is actually about the height we have right now of the compost pit. As I told you, we've had this for 1.5 years, and what happens is it decomposes and compresses on its own, and that's why it really doesn't ever get very tall. And so what you want to do is you want to take some dirt. This dirt has already got bacteria and microbes in it that will help break down a compost pit. And so what you want to do is you want to sprinkle a good amount of dirt all onto the surface of your compost pit. Next step, we just put dirt down on it, and what we want to do now is put some more what's called carbon-rich material. Plant and vegetables nitrogen-rich. This stuff is carbon-rich. What that means is nitrogen will get all smelly. Carbon will give a nice body to the compost so it doesn't get all slimy and mushy and moldy and bleh. So, got it? We put some more of this down as the next step. Then after that, what you want to do is when you hit about a month, well, even before you hit about a month, this is very important. We need to pour water. I'm not going to show you how to do that. You guys know how to do it. Get a big, huge gallon of water, a couple liters of water, and you want to water your compost pit, especially if you don't have any rain. Why do we want to water our compost pit? If the compost pit becomes too dry, our microbes and bacteria will not work. It just becomes a big, dry pile of mess. So by adding a little bit of water, we get a big, wet pile of mess that the bacteria and microbes have the moisture that they need to help break down your soil. Okay, so it's been a month. We've piled up our compost pit. It's gotten over 30 centimeters. We've added dirt, we've added plant material, we keep adding material to it, and we've been watering it, keeping it nice and moist. The other thing that the microbes and bacteria need is air, because if they don't get air, that's when it gets really smelly. It becomes anaerobic. Anaerobic means no oxygen. That's when it gets like pew. That's when it smells like trash. So how do you turn a compost pit? Well, come follow me. I think this is the most fun because you get to see all kinds of critters and things growing inside your compost pit that you wouldn't necessarily suspect. So, to turn your compost pit, what I like to do is start at the middle, and you kind of pull it down. Come check this out. You can probably already see when I start to hit it. I don't know if you can see smoke coming up. Okay, a lot of that is spores from fungus. Some of it is heat that's coming up, and if you put your hand in there, you can feel it's actually very warm. There's a nice worm in there. I see a lot of little tiny bugs in there. Those are the microbes. Those are the macro creatures that eat the material and convert it into brown stuff. And you know what that is. But that's what dirt is. So I pull it out, get some air in there. You can see really nice dirt starting to form. can actually pull up some of this dirt so you can take a look at it. Okay, aside from some trash that ends up in there. This is really good planting soil, gardening soil. This stuff is so rich that whatever you're growing in it is going to grow very well. And actually what we find in our compost pit is a lot of plants start to germinate. This is a bean. I can put that in a pot. There's some more beans in here. That's from a bag of beans that got old in our cupboard. We ended up throwing out. So here's our soil. I put that in our pot. I can put it on the top of our compost pit if I prefer. And you just turn it. And after you turn it, what do? Water it. And then that's what you do. You want to turn your compost pit about once every month. And it will sustain on its own. Again, we've had this for a year and a half. I haven't had to do any of the other steps except for turn it every month and add material to it. Thank you. My name is Chris Brown. This is a compost pit. Went through some very easy steps to create your own. Have fun and happy gardening.